Irvine in Scotland, a world welterweight title contender Gary Jacobs and Jim Neely.
A packed house here at the Magnum Centre in Irvine in Scotland to watch one of the great little Scots of the modern era, Paul Weir, the former WBO strawweight or mini flyweight champion, that at 7 stone 7. Now challenging once again for the light flyweight championship. That's 7 stone 10, so they don't come much smaller than this. So it's Paul Weir from Irvine in Scotland, and from El Dorado Park just outside Johannesburg in South Africa, number 3 contender Paul Oulden, the 22-year-old. There's Weir in blue of Scotland with the white St Andrew's cross, and in the all white is Paul Oulden from South Africa. Weir in just his 9th professional fight, and this is his 4th world title fight, so it's really quite hard to believe, but these days in modern boxing just about anything can happen. Paul Weir cut very badly on the occasion of his last fight way back in February when he lost to Josue Camacho for this very title, which then was vacant. Camacho went on to lose to Michael Carbajal, who was given the title up, and has subsequently lost for another version against Humberto Gonzalez, the Mexican. So the title vacant, and one of these little men will emerge from this contest over 12 3-minute rounds as the WBO light flyweight champion of the world. Good solid start by Paul Weir, who hard to describe, 2 men of this size towering over everybody, but he's a couple of inches of height over Paul Oulden and a little bit in terms of reach. With me a man who has his sights set very much on a world title sometime next year, the welterweight title, the WBC version held by Pernell Whitaker, is another Scot, Gary Jacobs, and this is always going to be a hard fight for Paul Weir, Gary.
It's always going to be tough. He's looking to come back from a loss earlier in this year, and it's very unusual. I mean, as you say, he's only his 9th fight to fight for 4 world title fights, but there's not a lot of people like this weight, and it's very unusual as well for Paul to be fighting a guy that's smaller than him. He's coming off a loss. He's looking to come out and win the title, and this year Oulden is coming over. He's coming into Paul's backyard to try and win the title. They've both only lost 1 fight, so has the makings of a very good fight. Oulden's been doing a lot of screaming and shouting how he's going to knock Paul out, but he's got the makings of a very, very good fight.
Some nice countering day by Weir. Oulden not quite the smallest boxer in South Africa. The smallest professional in the world is baby Jake Matlala, who actually fights at a weight higher than this. So it's Oulden in white from South Africa, just 22, the current South African strawweight champion, and that's at 7 stone 7. So he's moved up by 3 very precious pounds, and they've both come just inside the limit. Indeed, Weir was right on 7 stones 10, and Oulden just an ounce underneath. Good solid finish to the round by Paul Weir, and the referee stepping in straight away, and Weir apologises for hitting after the bell.
Yeah, I think that was just unlucky. It was just a case of he was throwing the punch and the bell went and landed after the bell or on the bell. There was no malice. It wasn't deliberate. It's just one of these things that happen.
There's Paul Weir, now 27 years old. This is his 9th professional contest. He's won 7 and lost 1. He's had 3 wins inside the distance. The only defeat, that to Josue Camacho, away back in Glasgow in February for the WBO light flyweight title. Paul Oulden from El Dorado Park near Johannesburg, 22, 5 years younger. 13 professional contests, and like Paul Weir, he's lost 1. He's won 12 of his, however, 8 of them inside the distance.
10 seconds. Seconds out. Round 2.
The second of this scheduled 12-rounder, the WBO light flyweight championship of the world at stake, the vacant title. Well, we're in the St Andrew's Cross in Scotland, and Paul Oulden, so a pair of Pauls. I'm not sure which one of them will be canonised when the hand is raised at the end of this fight, but all Scotland very much behind Paul Weir. Good amateur career he had, and a pretty successful professional career until he met Josue Camacho from Puerto Rico. One of the judges here tonight from Puerto Rico, the others from the United States and from Germany, as indeed is the referee, Michael Fisher. Oulden's been a professional since February of 1991. Won his first and second, lost in his third fight when, in fact, he was stopped. But since then, it's been wins all the way against two of those wins against pretty decent Mexican-American opponents.
Oh, yeah, the guy looks very capable. He's going back and he's setting himself well. He's throwing his punches. But Paul's also, he's the man in charge. He's the man creating the pace at the moment. He's going forward, landing some crisp jabs and good right hands. Oulden's standing his ground as well, and he's throwing back punches. It will be a tough battle. I think they're both fairly capable punchers, and especially at this weight, they're all fiery wee characters.
Oulden, about a year ago, was rated as one of the best prospects in the African continent. That left hand shows just why. And the Weir is throwing shots. There's a certain ominous accuracy about the punching of Paul Oulden. And what the Weir corner are desperately worried about is the chance of cuts around the eyes. After the Belcastro fight in February, Paul Weir needed no fewer than 22 stitches. Needless to say, everything Weir does is roundly applauded by the crowd here in the Magnum Centre.
That's been a good 9 months anyway for Weir's cuts to hold. I don't think they'll be worrying about the cuts at the moment. Just in case of clash of heads. He's landed there with a great right hand.
Well, Weir just doubled everything up. He went from head to body with the left and then came across with the right. But Oulden has taken it well. He was stopped, however. He's been stopped once, so his record would indicate that he may just be vulnerable. Weir has won only 3 of his 7 victories inside the distance. But this is Weir's 4th world title fight. So, although he's had fewer fights than the South African, he's more experienced at a higher level.
There's some good clinical boxing going on here by both boys. Weir is throwing great jabs, good right hands, and Oulden's coming back with the same. I think Weir's shots are having a wee bit more power and a wee bit more effect on Oulden.
Well, what a good second round in front of the packed house here in Irvine. Well, there's Paul Weir, and no sign of any damage at all. They were desperately worried about his eyes, which were badly cut at the end of the Belcastro fight. As Gary Jacobs said, he's had 10 months in which to prepare, and he's had a lot of hard sparring, and he looks pretty fresh. A slight bit of bruising underneath the left eye, but they don't worry too much about cuts underneath the eye, Gary.
Yeah, I think it was Camacho he was fighting there. Belcastro's a wee bit too big for him. No, I don't think it's really a problem. He's just going to get on with it. He has to get on with the job, and he doesn't. There you go. There you go. Left hand, right hook, left hand to the body. Some good combinations.
So Paul Weir from Scotland, who's held a world title, the WBO strawweight title, that's 7.5 stones. And he's failed once to win this, the light flyweight title, which is 7 stone 10s. There must be a little bit of concern about him because there was a tiny little nick just above the eyebrow of his left eye. And Paul Oulden, I'm quite sure, will have realised that towards the end of the round. And Weir's got to stay out of trouble. At the moment, he's working quite well behind a decent left jab and occasionally coming across with his right hand. And he mustn't get drawn into a toe-to-toe battle with this man. He's got to keep the head moving.
Yeah, he seems to be standing upright, and he's got his guard held high at the moment. So he's keeping himself protected at all times. He's winning the jab. I don't think the cut's really going to bother him. He was cutting his last fight and had I think he had 3 or 4 cuts, and he managed to get through the 12 rounds no problem. So I think that will hold no fear for him.
Paul Oulden this time spoken to about a low blow by the German referee, Mr. Michael Fischer. Well, Weir moving very nicely indeed, and he's taking a lot of those Oulden shots on his arms. Oulden very highly rated, one of the best pound-for-pound fighters. It's reckoned in the continent of Africa. And Weir turning his man well. And again, that Weir defence looking pretty good.
Yeah, Paul seems to be taking everything in the elbows, the forearms. Oulden's not really getting through with anything clean.
The only danger about that, one supposes, Gary, is that if you take too many after a certain length of time, your arms do get sore and you might just drop them.
Yeah, well, hopefully it won't drop them. They do get sore, but that's the name of the game. That's to protect you, protecting your rib cage, protecting the floating rib, and also keeping your hands up at your chin.
Well, a lesson there from Gary Jacobs, not just in boxing, but in anatomy as well, I suspect. Oulden putting on the pressure now. We're moving away. It's the final minute. Nice short, crisp little left jab from Oulden. Weir comes back. That's good boxing from the Scot. Well, this is scheduled for 12 rounds. Oulden said at the press conference that he was going to stop Weir in either 4 or possibly he might let it go to 5. And Paul Weir was not a bit pleased with that at all.
It's been a fiery start. Oulden hasn't stopped throwing punches. He's been throwing punches right from the start of this round. His arms have been pumping out. Weir has to keep on fighting back and doing the way he's doing. He's still landing the cleaner punches.
Well, Weir came in with 3-4 very good punches and then moved away. And despite the fact there's a lot of swelling underneath the left eye in particular of Weir, there's no sign of that little cut which appeared at the end of the last round over his left eyebrow reappearing. So Donkey Jard in the corner has done a fine job. And what a great round of boxing that was. And Paul Weir's more than pleased with his performance. Well, a packed hall here, and to a man behind Paul Weir. Paul Oulden hasn't brought much in the way of support, needless to say, all the way from Johannesburg.
Yeah, this is a good exchange of punches. Weir got the better of that exchange there, landed with a crisp right hand. Here we go, you'll see, there you go. Chucks his head back, good jab, good right hand.
Round 6.
There won't be very much between these two. The man in white, Paul Oulden from South Africa, rated number 3 by the WBO in the light flyweight division. And Paul Weir from Irvine in Scotland, rated the number 1 contender for the vacant title, which is being contested tonight. 1,700 people packed into the Magnum Centre in Irvine.
There's some very good boxing skills from Paul Weir as well. He's got some great ring craft, moving around away from Oulden's right hand, making a miss and coming back with like 2 or 3 punches of his own there.
Well, that's got to be Weir's tactics. He's got to get in and out again and keep away from those right hands, especially those slicing ones, because, well, Paul Weir, 22 stitches following the fight with Josue Camacho, will be conscious of the vulnerability of his eyes. The harder punching coming from Weir.
And yet still Oulden keeps going forward, keeps pumping out the arms. He's the man forcing the pace now.
Well, we saw a Scot lose to a South African within the last year here in Scotland. Pat Clinton lost his flyweight title to the incredible baby Jake Matlala. Flyweight, the division just higher than this, and baby Jake Matlala smaller than either of these two.
That's hard to believe.
We're moving nicely from the waist.
Yeah, some very good boxing skills. Oulden still going forward, strong, very fit, keeps pumping out the arms. Stronger punches coming from Weir, but it still hasn't. Oulden hasn't shook him at all. He just keeps coming forward. Weir's going to have to.
Once again, the heads clash rather ominously. Weir just standing still, letting his man come on to him. Lovely variation from Weir. That's better boxing. Oulden still comes forward, but there's a hint of a look of an anxiety about his face.
Yeah, Paul Weir needs to do more of that 2 or 3 punch combinations and keep them coming.
Well, this is better from Weir. Good right hand. Well, Oulden is coming forward, but he's leaning on for the first time. And maybe the confidence of the South African has been sapped by Paul Weir. Weir spoken to by the German referee Michael Fischer for use of the head. But this has been Weir's best run, his best spell. But he can't afford to let things go. That was good boxing by Paul Weir, and for the first time, Oulden looked as if he might be in trouble. There's that big right again. And Oulden comes bouncing straight back.
As Oulden stopped punching for maybe a spell of 30 seconds there.
Well, Paul Oulden really took a shot or two towards the end of that sixth round, the round to take us to the halfway stage. And as corner, I think we'll have to say to him, you've got to step up the work rate. He's breathing fairly heavily, and no wonder, because of Paul Weir's attack. And it was a great spell by Paul Weir.
That's it. Paul Oulden stopped punching there for a spell of about 30 seconds, and it gave Weir the chance, and Weir took full advantage of it. Combination, good left, right, straight back in, 2-3 punch combinations, and he took full advantage, and he needs to do more of that to start dominating and controlling the fight.
Second out, round 7.
Into the second half of this contest for the WBO Light Flyweight Championship of the World. And the last couple of rounds, Paul Weir from Scotland, the former WBO strawweight champion, that's at 7 stone 7, just 3 pounds below this weight at 7'10", starting to edge, albeit very slightly, ahead. And signs at the end of that round that the hard punching of Weir might just be getting through to the man from South Africa, Paul Oulden. Oulden has got a 9-month-old son who's called Ray Evander, so one assumes it's after Ray Leonard and Evander Holyfield. Weren't too bad boxers at all.
I said both of them are not too bad fighters. It'd be all right if he was half as good as any of them.
Well, he's about half the size of the two of them, especially Holyfield. In fact, he's less than half the size of Holyfield.
I was going to say that myself.
7 stone, 9 pounds and 14 ounces, Paul Oulden. Paul Weir coming in right on 7 stone 10, the limit, and that's terrific conditioning and terrific preparation. Weir really digging in. It's Weir's harder punches have been the more conclusive in this contest so far.
Yeah, I think the body shots from Weir are going to end up sapping the strength from Oulden. They're great shots, and they're very few and far between in the pro games, and these are the ones that are real killer blows.
Oulden once again under pressure, and there's a fair bit to go in this, the 7th round, and Weir looking for the finish, but mustn't get careless. But Oulden really is very resilient. Weir put him right back for the 2nd time in the contest, and Oulden displaying tremendous guts and tremendous heart and tremendous boxing skills, and what a chin.
Oh yeah, that's him digging real deep there. That's the first time that Weir's really got on top. That really shook him right to the bottom of his boots. He was banging trouble there, and he dug deep, and he came back and fought back well.
A good right hand from Oulden, just to remind the Scot, Paul Weir, that he's very much in this contest. And we will have 5 more rounds to go. With another minute of this one, the 7th. Not a single sign of emotion on the face of Paul Oulden. He grimaced and winced a little bit as Weir landed. A lovely quick hand speed from Weir, and again Oulden showing signs of weariness and having to hang on, and he's holding. The head of Weir bruising into the face of Oulden. 30 seconds to go to the end of this round. This has been a cracking contest between 2 great little men.
I think the key in this round has been the body shot, the left hook to the body for Weir. That's really slowed him down.
Well, he may well have heard, and it was just on the hip bone. And the mouth of Oulden is now open. He's taken a lot of very hard shots, as Gary Jacobs was saying, especially to the body. And Weir, another good round for him in the last 3 rounds, rounds 7, 6 and 5, would appear to have gone the way of the Scotsman Paul Weir. Well, that little nick that appeared above the left eyebrow of Paul Weir is completely closed over. He's getting some of that precious oxygen into the lungs, but he looks unruffled, and it was a great round once again for Paul Weir.
And I say he looks in complete control. There you go, the left hook to the body, double left hook, and trying to get through the right. That's what's really sapping the strength of Oulden, and it's always later on in the fight that he'll start slowing down. Oulden has actually slowed down a bit, but the body shots are a real good key. There you go. Good right hand. Gives him a chance. It slows Oulden down. The body shots takes everything out of him.
Second out, round 11.
Paul Weir's corner, the blue corner for the man in the blue trunks from Scotland, a little bit slow in getting the stool away. Just remember, the WBO Light Flyweight Championship of the World. 2 more rounds to go. Paul Weir from Scotland, rated #1 contender. The number 3, Paul Oulden from South Africa. between them. Just 23 professional fights, including this one. Weir gets a couple in and has to take one back. That's a measure of the strength of Paul Oulden's chin. Good pressure by Oulden. Weir for the first time looking slightly worried.
Yeah, both these guys are standing toe to toe now. Punch for punch.
And the Oulden corner, Gary, may well have said to him, we reckon you might just be behind, so you've got 2 rounds in which to win this contest. Well, 2 good rounds might just nick it for him, or he may have to go for the stoppage.
It's very, very close. I mean, I wouldn't like to put on who's going to win this fight. Oulden's been forcing the pace but having no success. He's got to try and slow Weir down. He's been landing a lot of good right hands on Weir, but Weir's also been taking them very well.
Well, I may be mistaken, but I think there's a little cut somewhere in Paul Weir's forehead, and there's been 1 or 2 nasty little bumps together of heads. Midway through this round, and I think it's almost right in the middle, just above the nose. And Oulden is coming forward, and you can see him focusing his attention on the centre of Paul Weir's face. And this is a better round by the South African. And Weir's got to get himself off the ropes and out of trouble. And all of a sudden, the steam is starting to go out of Paul Weir. And that's the second time the referee has spoken to him, and Weir's got to get back to that jab and move tactic.
I say he's got to try and he's got to weather the storm here. He's under a lot of pressure. Oulden's throwing a lot of punches and landing with a lot.
That was a good right hand by Weir, and Oulden slapped. Well, Weir's doing all the moving, and Oulden may be impressing the 3 judges from Germany, the United States and Puerto Rico by coming forward all the time. But it's the first time we've seen Paul Weir look a little bit worried.
I say it's the first time he's really been stopped in his tracks and under a wee bit of pressure. But he's fighting back.
Well, we are going to get, with 30 seconds of this round to go, we're going to get 3 absolutely cracking minutes of boxing at 7 stones and 10 pounds.
I think it's been 33 minutes of cracking boxing already. It's been a fantastic fight.
We're showing signs, perhaps, in this, the penultimate round, of tiring ever so slightly, but finishes off with that left-right combination and covers up nicely. And that'll not do him any harm or do his confidence any harm. And Oulden looks at him as if to say, I don't know what you're doing still in my face. Well, he looked very, very strong in that round, and he has come in a condition that's equal to anything that we've seen from Paul Weir. Very tired he looks. He'll really be going on automatic now.
Oh yeah, I mean, both boys will be very, very tired, including Oulden. Oulden's been pumping out, he's been pumping both arms out. Weir's been landing the better punches, the harder punches, but maybe not doing enough. Who knows? I still wouldn't like to put back a winner here. It's very, very close. It's right down to the last round.
Great stuff there from Oulden. Weir on the ropes, and for the first time perhaps in the whole contest, he had to stand his ground, and then he had to step forward and hold on, and we haven't seen him do that in almost 11 rounds of boxing.
Almost 10 seconds. Seconds out. 12. Last round.
There's not going to be very much between them on the scorecards of the 3 judges. Puerto Rico, the United States and Germany. The official from Germany, Michael Fischer, not scoring. And Paul Weir starting to show a little bit of weariness towards the end of that round. He's got to dig deep into his reserves. He's trained for some 10 months for this, having failed to take the title away from Josue Camacho when it was vacant away back in February. It's vacant again, and either Paul Weir or Paul Oulden will become the WBO light flyweight champion of the world. Tiny little man, under 8 stone, 7 stone 10, and they have fought like men 2 or 3 times their size, and pound for pound, my goodness, they've been throwing some hard punches.
This has been a cracking fight, a cracking pace the whole way through. It's all down to this last round. I think whoever's going to win this last round might win the fight. It's been a great fight, and whoever wins the last round is whatever boy wins this fight is deserved of being a world champion.
Well, Weir is back to the tactic that served him pretty well, especially in the middle of the fight. That's coming out with that left and then across with the right and keeping out of trouble. Nasty clash of heads as Oulden jumps inside the guard of the Scot. 1 minute gone, 2 minutes to go to decide who's going to be the WBO light flyweight champion of the world.
Oulden has been going forward straight from the word go. He's still the man that's pressing forward. We are landing the crisper punches, but he's still been pumping out. It's a very, very tough, very close fight.